There is new research, and further research as well towards people with schizophrenia. But it can have a different impact on indeed many more people out there, even the new news. But believe that there might be fake research on most particular medicines. You can't even get the actual proposition to even drug combination that could turn off the immune system in the brain. Which indeed, drug companies do not fully want to happen since their income comes first than the actual patient. But that truly is even making sense since it's also not talked broadly about when the fact that Karolinska Institute came out with an important research as back in 2009 written on actually this article link. news.key.se/immune-system-activated-in-schizophrenia. As written in the article, scientists at Karolinska Institute have now been able to analyze inflammatory substances in the spinal fluid of patients with schizophrenia, instead of, as in previous studies, in the blood. The results show that patients with recent onset schizophrenia have raised levels of a signal substance called interleukin-1 beta, which can be released in the presence of inflammation. Food? In healthy control patients, this substance was barely measurable. This suggests that the brain's immune defense system is activated in schizophrenia, says Professor Goran Engberg, who led the study. It now remains to be seen whether there is an underlying infection or whether the immune system is triggered by some other means. Even by means understanding the article more perfected, we can know that by their study, the dopamine system is confused by their as well-informed basis on mouse tests where it creates confusion by affecting dopamine systems in rats. And confusion as psychosis as written by Hegel in his books. It's described where psychosis is confusion, and while madness described by Hegel as a loss of real sense. Anyway, towards the future, there came a specific type of research already dated back in 2016 that genuinely wrote that the genome of schizophrenia is stated double standard as being lightly enlightened towards being an immune system deficiency. Toward this, we understand that they well transcribed on this article below, www.ncbi.nlm.nih.gov/pmc/articles/pmc49888748. Despite these limitations, to the best of our knowledge, this was the most comprehensive investigation of the hypothesis that immune genes contribute to schizophrenia. Based on current GWAS data, schizophrenia does not appear to be an autoimmune disease per se. However, there may be modest contributions to genetic susceptibility from a specific subset of immune genes with additional roles outside of immunity, for example, neurodevelopmental. In this case, we know the double standard. However, still, I believe that again, the illness is an immune system disease that we can comprehend that as something like schizophrenic analog immune disease. There is no complete word towards this study. Still, it's in the same aspect as to believe that schizophrenia is somehow like a different tree of species based on the same genome of schizophrenia as it is on the same road of autoimmune diseases. Still, by limitations, it is longly away the same as an autoimmune disease. We have shown that common variation at immune genes presents a very different genetic architecture in schizophrenia as compared to diseases of known immune origin. It's by this I can talk on this since I've been sick of schizophrenia, and I was on the same hypothesis since the start of my study on this. Like everything else, I had been healthy from schizophrenia already in 2013 for short while. Since that time, I researched by hypothesis of a parasite or bacteria creating the disease already by impact in the mouth, stating the same delirium as all side effects of Zyprexa. As, in fact, by my means, I've been healed by specific unique ways, then suddenly sick of either contaminated water or even less cooked meat made by pork. What happened sooner was to follow the exact route of hypothesis to find all the things about schizophrenia illness. Even to talk about these sciences by learning by being a teacher on all subjects. Since no one does believe in these subjects, thus you should see the last quote in this article. And in a blink, I was on the road to stand and speak all about this, trying to get support on this proceeding as well. Reasonable people believe in different and doing it. I significantly changed towards worship of the right. I've lately asked my doctor to give me perpenazine 108.2 grams, 1 milliliter by 0.5 milliliters each second week, and pills of quetiapine depot of 200 milligrams each fifth hour. Totally 3 times a day. The effect does not even give side effects, as it indeed turns off my immune system. Still, then working correctly, so it's like a better life than many could ever have. The most important is my reduction in addictiveness to drugs, that I've been struggling for a long time in my life with schizophrenia. I knew that when I healed my schizophrenia, my addiction wasn't active at any point, even levitated high enough to want to do any drug. Your self-esteem also works as indeed towards the aspect to make an excellent choice for your life. So either medicated or healthy in a miraculous way, you either are enough healed never to touch drugs. This document must be public, as my article should speak widely, and search engines to anything out there do dirty work to impeach this level of publicity, but believe me, as soon as you shared this, you're like creating a great future. Thanks again. So unlearn all you that you learned. Some say that schizophrenia is a chronic disease. Well, I believe genuinely it's not, and that it can be settled to be healed. Surely we might know that certain types of anti-psychotic medicine do inevitably affect the immune system. It was long told that it had sufficient capacity even to treat cancer. Cancer, though, might be as well very affected by the immune system. And thus then giving us absolute knowing that you can with the diet even heal your illness of schizophrenia. But what about schizophrenia as a long story untold? It might just be that you might find specific possible solutions to schizophrenia if you look after how to trigger the deactivation of the immune system. It might be as well antibiotics for schizophrenia. Still, the treatment would set the people on mania, as that causes mania to many. Wrongly healed schizophrenia in worst cases create huge affliction of another type of psychosis. Either you want to be schizophrenic or without the illness. You will, at some point, be schizophrenic, not just only you were, but while the mind always thought in the way of schizophrenia, so you wouldn't want the treatment unless you've been schizophrenic for short period of time. You might want to wonder how this schizophrenia is. Well, it's a confusion bubble, but can certainly be treated with certain types of medication. But getting out of this illness is like a hard stone being crushed by hands. It's nearly impossible, in the future though it may be. But most of this news we hear about in daily life does not attend anything special. It is as if people are fed with enough information, and the doctors are already with their basic knowledge, not seeking anything different in solutions. Still, all problems do genuinely have an answer. It's not single ones, but you might be on the road to heal schizophrenia if you believe it's non-chronic. And as well try to learn the way to understand what truly makes schizophrenia a unique illness, which today isn't as far well treatable.